One thing that's been consistent, I'll say, is events.
Good, yay.
Yes. And so during the pandemic, if you are happy and you feel fulfilled, you're successful. Can I give an example?
Yes.
When you're producing, 50 big events a year, you have to have process. You can't recreate the wheel every time you go. And that's a delicate balance of, if you don't feel an emotional attachment, it's not going to work. I want to learn more, I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to feel better, right?
¿Qué es el éxito?
Dinero,
Empoderamiento.
aprendizaje, viajes,
Crecimiento, emprendimiento.
salud.
Familia.
Hablemos de éxito. Todos los viernes en YouTube. En conversación con Kristin, vicepresidenta de eventos empresariales para Inc. y Fast Company, creadora de experiencias transformadoras, pero sobre todo un humano bien chingón.
Estoy súper emocionado de esta entrevista. Esta entrevista va a ser en inglés. Es una persona que amo, respeto, es mi amiga y la admiro muchísimo. Very happy to be with you. Honored.
Gracias.
You're my friend, someone I respect and I admire.
Gracias.
¡Ay, qué lindo! ¡Qué lindo! Kristin, let's talk success. Hablemos de éxito. What does success mean to you?
Success to me is happiness. It's feeling fulfilled in what you're doing, in your life. Of course, money is important. Having a stable job is important, but I think that if you are happy and you feel fulfilled, you're successful. Can I give an example?
Yes, please.
We took an Uber to the airport to get to Puerto Rico. And on the way here, the Uber driver, it was 5 in the morning, 5:30. He was so happy. He greeted us. He offered us coffee to stop at a coffee shop on the way to the airport. Once we got to the airport, he gave us a little package of cookies. And he was so pleasant and happy. And I thought to myself, that is success, right? This Uber driver's up at 5 in the morning. That must be a tough job, right? Dealing with all these different people at 5 a.m. And I just thought to myself, he's made it. He's happy. He's successful.
Wow, what a great example.
Thank you.
Definitely. Successful women, empowered women, producing major events. Wow. Tell us a little bit of your story,
Sure.
please.
So I'm from Pennsylvania, and I went to college in Ohio. I went to Ohio State University, huge school, 50,000 people when I was there, and I liked that. I liked the idea of going somewhere where I didn't know anyone,
Nice.
and it was just excitement and energy. I got my first job in New York. I knew I wanted to be in a city, so I applied to jobs in New York and Philadelphia. I got a job in New York doing media buying, and it was the perfect first job because it got me to New York.
Right.
It was young people, fun, parties, free things. And that was good, being a young kid in New York, not making a lot of money. But maybe 10 months in, I was like, I don't really like what I'm doing. I don't really feel happy in the work that I'm doing or fulfilled, really. And so I interviewed for a job at Condé Nast, and I liked the idea of kind of the glitz and glam that came with Condé Nast's reputation, And I spent 8 years there. I started as an assistant, where my responsibilities were organizing the event storage closet, shipping the event materials to our events. And that was a pivotal role for me because I saw what it takes to produce an event from the ground up. From the organizing, that's important, to have an organized event closet, to the shipping, making sure the things get there safely and are accounted for. And then I worked my way up little by little in those 8 years at Condé Nast, producing really amazing, fun events, and also made lifelong friends there. So I'm grateful for that job. And then I was offered an opportunity at Bloomberg.
Ooh.
And I of course knew the mayor, Mike Bloomberg of New York, but I didn't even know he had a company, a technology company, and I didn't know what the Bloomberg terminal was. But I interviewed, I remember I put together a PowerPoint of like the fun, cool events we did at Condé Nast. And the woman that was interviewing me, she was hardcore. And she was so impressed that I put together this PowerPoint of all the things that I had contributed to. And so that's what got me that job. And that job was pivotal. It taught me the importance of organization, process. I still use the budget templates from Bloomberg in the events that I do today. When you're producing, 50 big events a year, you have to have process. You can't recreate the wheel every time you go. And that's a delicate balance of process, but not having process stifle the creativity part of, and I'm still kind of learning and doing my best there. So got the job at Bloomberg, learned a whole different element of, finance, and I worked in the philanthropy department there, and that opened up a huge opportunities for me. I saw every, I think, philanthropic venue in New York, museums and nonprofits. And then I was approached by a headhunter and for a job at the New York Stock Exchange. And so this was interesting and exciting to me because it was offering a lot of money for me at that time. But I didn't know anything about the stock exchange at all. But they liked my event experience. I would be leading a team there. That was my first time managing a team all on my own. So I took that job and again, have lifelong friends from that job. The job itself was not really fulfilling to me. So I stayed there a couple of years and then went back to my roots in media. And I took a job at Business Insider, leading a team. And that was a great experience because I was the leader. People came to me for all of the event needs, requests. I was in charge. And that was a great experience. And I was there for a number of years and then took a job where I am today at Inc. and Fast Company. So Inc. is a media company that focuses on content for founders and entrepreneurs. And that's how I met you.
Yes.
A founder and entrepreneur yourself. And Fast Company, which is a media publication that's focused on creativity and technology and what's next and the future of AI. So a little more all-encompassing. And I've been there now for 4 years and really loving it. So that's my journey so far.
Wow.
Much more to come.
Wow. You've been there.
Yeah.
You've explored media. How is media changing today?
Oh my gosh. One thing that's been consistent, I'll say, is events.
Good. Yay.
Yes. And so during the pandemic, we were still doing, it just shifted. It became online events. Not my favorite because I got into events because I like creating experiences and connections and something memorable for people. So, but that's one thing that's remained consistent from my experience in the media industry. But now, oh my gosh, with AI, the whole journalism aspect of media is changing, how content is created. And we're one of the few media companies that still produce a printed magazine. And I'm proud of that because I'm kind of old school in that, when I read a book, I read a physical book.
The tangible aspect of it, right?
Of course, I consume media online. I read articles online, but I love a print magazine. You go to the airport and you buy a magazine, it feels good. I don't know if when you pick up a Fast Company magazine, the texture of the cover, like there's something emotional about it. Like, ooh, I like this. But it's all changing. I mean, now we produce 4 magazines per year for each brand. It used to be, 1 a month back in the day. So it's ever evolving. But the one area where I see growth continuing is in the events world.
Good, good. New York Stock Exchange. We are all entrepreneurs, people that watch this. What did you learn? What can we take from your time there?
Oh boy. Well, I didn't know what an IPO was when I started. So I learned from, like, I had to be taught every single thing. And so what I would share with you is that be open to opportunities, be open to learn. You know, don't be afraid that, oh, that's not my expertise. Like, I can't do that. No. Open yourself up to learning about it, you know. Have someone that you feel, that you trust, you know, take you around, take you on the stock exchange floor and say, oh, these are what these numbers mean. And this is why, you know, it's getting crazy busy right now because the stock's going. So I think that's my biggest takeaway from working at the stock exchange, is just being open to learning something new that you may not even think you're interested in.
Does being a woman in your favor or against you in media, in business?
I don't think that it matters so much for me. Although in the events business, you do tend to find it's more female leaning.
Love it.
But it hasn't been a benefit or a negative. My boss is a female. Stephanie is her name, and she's fantastic. She is a leader that leads with empathy first. You know, I have my weekly one-on-one with her, and she asks me, how's Michael and Joseph, my nephews? You know, how was your weekend? How was Woodstock? You know, so she makes it personal. You know, we have a nice relationship, but she doesn't cross boundaries where I feel like she's, you know, completely in my business. And I appreciate that in a leader, leading with empathy. And it's not like all about the numbers or all about, you know, the profit or, you know, the process or what we're doing. It's about being human and how are you and how's your team doing. So I respect that.
Wow. Okay, so you've said so many things there that are touching me. One of your products, Inc. magazine, it's focused on entrepreneurship, founders, and your leader, it touches you that she gets to know who you are. She takes things on a personal approach. How important is this in the founder entrepreneur part of things?
So working with Inc., I've had a lot of exposure and contact with entrepreneurs and founders such as yourself, and that's what I've observed is the most important thing, is that an entrepreneur needs to be deeply passionate about what they're doing, because it is so much work running a business, starting a business, running a business, keeping it going, scaling, that if you don't feel an emotional attachment, it's not going to work. It'll fail. And you see that, you know, in all of the founder stories.
You see, 'cause it matters to me.
Yeah.
So what Stephanie's doing to you by asking how are your nephews doing, some people could say it's strategy. I don't think so.
No.
I think that unless I know who I work with and what they appreciate and value, we can have an honest conversation.
Yes.
Not just on numbers and data and how many tickets and how many. It really matters because you're looking at people in the eye. This is not a robot or a bot or an AI agent. This is the human where they spend their time. And it's important to see how are they. Let me see a photo. Let me put a picture of the name.
Yeah.
Right? A face to the name. So that matters to me as a leader. Do you see that as a new 2025, 2026? Are we heading into that direction with AI integration? More humans?
Oof. Well, I will say that AI is opening up so many doors and so many opportunities to improve your business and the way you work. You know, streamlining, not having a person analyze data and take hours upon hours in looking at numbers, but like AI can spit that right out.
Right.
But with events, you know, part of an event is feeling, you know, having the human touch, the human connection, and AI can't do that.
Right.
So that's one thing about events that I think we have it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we need humans to be doing the work to create those experiences.
This is what you do. You've produced many events, and right now you have 2 major ones. You do many, but
Yes, our 2 tentpole events.
Exactly.
So the Inc. 5000 Conference and Gala, that is the largest gathering of founders and entrepreneurs and celebrating those companies that have made the Inc. 5000 list, which is a list of the 5,000 fastest growing private companies in the US. And then on the Fast Company side, the Fast Company Innovation Festival, which is a week-long festival in New York, bringing together leaders, driving creativity, driving innovation, driving technology across all businesses, across all divisions, areas.
why would anyone go to the events? What makes them special? What value do we get from? We're talking to humans that are starting a business, that they're planning a business, or in the process of growing their nail salon. Why would they get involved in either one of those, innovation or entrepreneurship?
Meeting people, meeting people that can help you grow your business, whether it's talking about the struggles that you have. You know, someone that you meet at the Inc. 5000 conference might have the same struggle that you have, and you weren't able to find someone that's dealing with the same thing. The Innovation Festival, people come for ideas, to feel inspired, to learn, to see new and different things. But going back to why I got into events, it's creating experiences and connections. And so really, I would say events are so important for creating connections, meeting new people. You and I met at an event, and look at us now, years later. We're friends, but also we share ideas together. And I'm here at your beautiful farm in Puerto Rico, and that happened because we went to an event together.
This is true. And what's the future of events? And I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. The future of events, events is on a trajectory up, growing. I think with the more that technology becomes a part of business, with AI and everything else, events are going to become even more important because we're human. We want to be with humans. We want to be with people. We want to talk and connect and feel the emotional, attachment that comes with meeting people and being together. So, of course, there were the virtual events during the pandemic, but you kind of missed there's something about being in person, right? There's like some kind of magic that happens with being in person. We were talking about this, about being in the office. And you asked me if I'm more productive at home or in the office. And I think it's about the same, but there's no replacement for, you're walking to the cafe or the kitchen or the bathroom, even in your office, and you bump into a colleague and have a quick 2-minute discussion about that project you're working on. That won't happen if you're at home. So those things won't happen if you're not go to an event, right?
Very true. What inspires you to make the events, to create them? What goes through your mind to say, last year was super successful and we broke records, sponsorship or attendees. What happens in your brain to produce next year's event? I
always want my team and myself to think bigger, what can we do differently? If I'm an attendee that's coming year after year after year, I don't want to see the same thing, right? I want to see something new and different. And it's challenging because we're a small team that does many, many events. And so we're not thinking about the one event. We're thinking about dozens of events. So that's a challenge that we face, and an opportunity too, to get out of our day-to-day of event planning. It takes so much work to put together an event, right? You don't just print out the menu cards and whoop, find a venue. There's so much that goes into it. And so being mindful about coming out of the day-to-day and making time to think differently. Like even coming here to Puerto Rico, I've had so many ideas. I listened to your meeting with your team, and it sparked an idea for me. Small idea, I want Lillian on my team to start bringing the work that she's doing, her touches to the events that she's secured, and I want her to start sharing that on our status calls with all of the other departments.
Hey.
Right? So they can hear, oh my gosh, Lillian reached out to that Inc. 5000 company that owns an apparel printing brand organization. And now they are going to supply all of our branded merch for the Inc. 5000. How amazing. They're excited to work with us because they respect the Inc. brand, and we're excited to support an Inc. 5000 company. And Lillian did that, right? She made that connection. And so now I want her to start sharing those things in our status meetings so that everyone can hear. And that might spark another idea. Marketing might want to take that and use that as a little thing in their email marketing.
Thank you. That's amazing. Wow.
No, thank you. You gave me the idea. Lillian.
Collaborations.
See?
Collaborations. Speakers. You meet a lot of speakers. You've heard a lot of speakers. Is there one that's very memorable that you say, it touched me? I was at my event and I sat down and took the time to hear the speaker. What did he or she say to impact you?
I have to think about this because I'm sure that one's not coming to mind that I've stored away. But there was one speaker. We do an annual event at South by Southwest in Austin. And we do an event for Inc. and we do an event for Fast Company, and they're super fun events because it's Austin. It's South by Southwest. Weird. Yeah, it's quirky, it's fun. It's, people come in a bikini top, and it's a little different. We serve tacos on the patio. So there was one speaker who came. I had never met them before, and they spoke about their company and how what was important to them was that all of their employees, from the most junior to the most senior, were treated equally and fairly, and were recognized for their contributions. Do you know what speaker I'm talking about? Oh, okay.
I wonder who.
His name's Brandon, and he owns a coffee company called 787 Coffee. And it's so true. Like, you spoke at South by at the Fast Company Grill, and I had never met you before. I remember you were speaking, I think, with the woman from Y7, the yoga company, and then I took one of her classes. Super cool yoga company. And that stuck with me. Like, you were talking about how the farmers at the farm are paid fairly, they're respected, they are brought in and know the story of 787, so they're not just picking coffee beans and that's their job. They're part of something bigger. To the baristas in New York or El Paso or Houston, and they feel part of the larger organization. They feel part of something bigger, and that resonated with me. Thank you.
I need a hug for this.
Oh,
It's true. Thank you for reminding me. A lot of times we forget. Oh my gosh, thank you.
yes.
I wish that was recorded.
Someone thinks.
Because this is valuable.
Oh my
Talk
God.
about wellness. Hola.
Hola, donkey.
Hola, mi amor.
Hola, donkey.
Hola, mi amor.
Oh my gosh,
Buenos
Brandon, I'm
días.
like sinking.
Here, we'll move this over.
Oh, my shoe is stuck. Look.
There you go.
There we go.
Kristin, there's a lot of talk on balance, right? Wellness and work and life balance. What's your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
So, as I'm getting older, health and wellness is becoming more and more interesting to me. I grew up as a dancer, and so I was always not working out. I was always physical and active, and then as I've learned more, the more you know, the more you grow, and I've become more interested in learning about, how wellness with food, wellness with activity, how it affects your body and your mind, and especially, having a stressful job. What I eat actually impacts how I feel. Ooh. So if I drink 1 cup of coffee a day. Lo siento. Solamente one. Porque if I have 2, I'm jittery and I feel anxious.
Got it.
And
I'm honored. You had 2 today.
See,
Yay!
when I'm on vacation, it's
Good,
different
okay,
because
good.
then but when I'm working then uno, solamente uno. But I love the wellness industry. just as a personal, I want to learn more. I want to be better. I want to do better. I want to feel better, right? Even like I'm still young, but like I feel different in my body when I wake up, right? Like I'm a little more stiff, right? And so that's only going to exacerbate as we get older. So I want to get ahead of it, I want to feel the best I can and live every day the best that I can.
What makes you happy?
Oh my gosh, this guy, like being here in nature. Yes. I like nature is medicine. We were talking about this, NAD+,
Huge.
That's fantastic. And all of the medical, findings and learnings and new things that are coming about. And we went...
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
He's calling his girl.
Do they want to say hi to you? Does he want to say hi to you? We were talking about NAD+, and supplements are great, right? If it makes you feel good and it's healthy for you, amazing. And then we went for a dip in the waterfall yesterday, the most pure water. And you're like, this is the natural NAD+. And I was like, you're right. I came out of that after going into the cool water, and just being in nature. I felt superhuman, I felt powerful and energized. When I'm inside all day, sitting at a computer, I'm lethargic, I'm tired, I'm cranky, It all makes a difference. Nature makes a difference. Nature is medicine on its own.
You think that's part of the future of events and business as well, integrating wellness and outdoors, rooftops? Is that especially in New York? You're based out of New York.
For me, yes. All events, probably not, right? Like business events. Well, I think that every event could benefit from some kind of wellness integration. And that's something I'm interested in pursuing and thinking about, as I think about my future.
Great.
It's like, what am I interested in personally? And what are my skills professionally, and marrying the two?
Great.
So that's what I'm hopeful, one day I'll be able to, bring people together for events that share, a combination of wellness, nature, my hospitality, creating connections, creating memorable moments. That's what I'm hopeful for.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot. You've seen many things. You're becoming more and more wiser every day. What do you wish, or what would you tell little Kristin?
Oh, okay. I would tell little Kristin that you can't control other people's reactions. You can't control other people's feelings or personalities. That's them. But what you can control is your own reactions, your own feelings, your own how you react and how you process information. So you're in charge of yourself. I'm not in charge of how you react to something, but I am in charge of how I react to it. And, your thoughts create your reality, right? How you think. If you're thinking positively, you're going to be drawn to positivity. If you're thinking negatively, you're going to go down that, you're going to attract negativity. My screensaver on my phone is, you don't find the happy life, you make the happy life. So you can't I would tell little Kristin, don't wait for the opportunities to come to you. You have to go out and find them. Take the job at the New York Stock Exchange, little Kristin, even if you're not interested in that area of business necessarily, you'll learn so much.
Powerful.
I would also tell her, I think I've been successful because I've made amazing connections with people. I've had I've worked in the events business for 20 years and at 5 different organizations, and all but one I've gotten because of a reference. Someone I knew, someone that trusted me or liked the work that I did, not because of like the bullet points on my resume. So I would tell the younger version of myself to make good connections, make connections, and, you know, foster them, nurture them, you know, stay in contact with the people that you admire and you trust and that you like being with. Because those things will open up doors.
It's so funny, Kristin, how the moment you took a breath, you were opening up and you're talking to little Kristin. And when you took that breath, Margarita, which has been a little bit hesitant because she doesn't know you, got closer to you and asked for love.
She did? Look.
And this is a perfect example of how nature, and when you're open to nature and talking about nature and respecting nature, nature does the same to you. It was so funny to see from this perspective. You spoke, you took a breath, and then immediately it got closer to you. It was like, give me some love. I'm ready.
Oh.
Wow.
I know, because when I first walked up, she was like, not sure.
Right. Wow.
But
wow,
now we're connected.
Yes. She's right next to you, literally.
See. Margarita.
Margarita and you and Kristin and little Kristin spoke. If you could share a couple of things on what can we take from, let's talk magazine business, because that's part of your life right now. What can we learn? What can we do? How can we get better in business?
I would say take every opportunity. And again, don't let the opportunities come to you, seek them out.
Got it.
You know, if you're a young person looking for a job, apply for the internships, volunteer, you know, learn from the ground up, learn, you know, how the importance of an organized event closet and shipping impacts the larger event. Be open to learning and be proactive about it. You know, if you are interning at a company in a division, ask your manager if you can talk to this person in that division or that person in that division so that you can learn how all the pieces work together. You know, the more you know, the more you grow.
Great. Innovation, creativity based on Fast Company. What can we take with us today from innovation, creativity, everything you read, everything you do, all the events you produce?
So one thing that I do with my team, we have a weekly team meeting. And it's for us to come together to, you know, give status updates, raise our hand if we need help, if I'm overwhelmed. And that's the first thing we do. We share what's good, what's a win that you had this past week,
Nice.
or what's a good thing that happened. You know, it doesn't have to be professionally related. It could be that one of my team members last week said, I started going back to the gym, and I'm really proud of myself. And then we go around and we say what our bandwidth looks like. We're a small team. We work really hard. Events is a tough job. There's so many details, things to take care of that no one would ever know. You know, even my boss, she would never know the ins and outs that everyone does to create an event. And so we go around and we say what our workload looks like that week. And so if Jamie says and we do a scale 1 to 10, and 1 is like, I don't really have anything to do. I'm open, I can help. Or 10, like I'm on fire. I cannot imagine taking on one single more thing. So if you're in the 8s, if you're around an 8, you have to delegate. You have to say to someone, I need help with X, Y, or Z. So you don't reach that 10 on fire number. So that's one thing that we do that I think helps us not only control our workload, but also like allows our brains to maybe think in different ways. You know, like if you have a project that you have to sit down, it's numbers, and you have to spend 2 hours focused on that. Well, what if you could delegate to someone that's not as busy on the team? And then that opens you up for something else that you could be doing that maybe provides a little bit more
100%.
value.
Great. Let's go to wellness. What can we do? What do you do? What can you teach us?
So I feel my best when I'm active. So if I go, I did a hot yoga class last Friday morning, 7 a.m.
Wow.
And the rest, and I'm not usually a morning workout person, but I was able to do it. The rest of the day, I felt I wasn't stressed. I felt clarity. I was able to focus and have better interactions. I had a tough meeting with someone, and I wasn't stressed about it. It was, I was able to do it without feeling anxiety.
Good.
And I attributed that to my morning workout. You know, I was able to like sweat it out and then take on the day. So that's one thing that helps me is working out, sweating, and being active.
Lovely.
Also drinking water.
Ooh, so important.
Do you know Glennon Doyle? We Can Do Hard Things? No? Mm-mm. She said, you know, when she is like in a bad mood, cranky, stressed, anxious, she's like, I'm gonna have a glass of water.
Ooh.
And you drink a glass of, like, maybe you're just thirsty. Maybe you're just dehydrated. Maybe your brain just needs like a little bit of, you know, hydration. And so I've thought about that before, like, why am I feeling so anxious? You know what, let me just have a glass of water. And also I think it like slows you down and gives yourself a moment to rest and reset.
I like that for a poster in the office, actually. Feeling stressed, have a glass of water next to our water
Yes, yes, drink a glass of water.
Wow, great, thank you. What's next? What's next for Kristin?
After my vacation in Puerto Rico?
Yes, and Bad
oh my
Bunny.
gosh. What's that?
And Bad Bunny.
And Bad Bunny concert? Oh, I'm excited about my future. I'm excited. I feel like Inc. and Fast Company have given me so much, and I'm happy there. I really enjoy working with my boss and my team. So I want to continue to add value and also gain value from the company. And then, you know, back to our wellness conversation, one day I want to bring it together. You know, I want to integrate more of what I'm interested in from a wellness perspective. And I think being around animals has something to do with it. You obviously see that with the farm, the calm. We were saying this morning, the farm is so calm. The animals are so calm today. They sense something, right? They sense, is the hurricane coming? I think that's what's next for me in the future is continuing to bring people together, create memorable moments, create community, connections, and from a wellness perspective.
Wow, love it. Thank you.
Si este video te dio valor, suscríbete.